Welcome to Heart Snuggles. We're so happy you're here today, and we're grateful that you're listening to this episode. As always, if you're enjoying it, please leave a 5-star review and share with your friends and family. Tag Heart Snuggles on Instagram and spread the love. So today we have a really cool guest, and just introduce yourself.
Hi, yeah, I'm so excited to be here. So my name is Katelyn, and I am the owner, founder, I guess CEO, and maker of 7csalts. So I'm a bath and body care product company. And what I do is I handcraft products. It's just me right now for your chakras. So I started off with bath salts. That was kind of, and we can definitely dive into even how I came to be, but started off with those. And then as I went through a few different markets, I was hearing people say, well, I hate baths, I can't bath, but, whether that's from some sort of injury or they don't have a bath, yada, yada, yada. And so I created shower steamers in like 2018. And then those became super popular in just, my whole department of bath and body care, like among everybody. And then now I'm just moving into a few other things. I just joined up for school to learn more about other cosmetics and stuff. So much more is going to be coming. I would love to have a full line of just something for every aspect of your being. And yeah, basically I use natural, mostly vegan. I would love to use honey in some stuff, but I haven't yet. So right now I currently am fully vegan, like my products. And from there, I use, beautiful essential oils and other incredibly amazing ingredients from Mother Earth. So clays, botanicals, that sort of thing. And I handcraft everything with intention. Every ingredient, there's a reason why it's in there. There's no additives or like extra stuff that doesn't need to be in there. It's very simple, very clean. And to wrap it all up in a beautiful package, there's an affirmation on the front of every single product that helps bring you more into alignment with that specific chakra that you're working with.
So
Yeah, if
beautiful.
only I could answer that in like a 2-second intro. I got to figure out my 30-second elevator pitch here.
It's okay. I love that. And I think it's so important to I'm so about supporting small businesses that have so much intention and natural products and aren't putting shit in it that doesn't need to be there, like you said. And it's just
Yeah.
you're packaging it with so much love, and it is transferred into the product that you're receiving because it makes a big difference. So I'm so
It
happy that
really
you're doing
does.
this.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pretty wild ride. I mean, you learn a lot about yourself when you even just own a business, never mind a product-based business. I'm sure you're aware, like service-based is a little bit different. You're not really necessarily doing a lot with your hands, so to speak, but you're doing a lot with your heart. So, I mean, either way, the hands are an extension of the heart. So it's like, I think we all just get it. When you're a business owner, you just understand, like, you just learn so much about yourself too when you're in the process of trying to serve others. So yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree. And I forgot, so I'm trying to get better at this. So I like
Yeah.
to ask at the beginning, what was the last random act of kindness someone did for you?
Oh geez. Random act of kindness someone did for me. Oh my goodness. That's a really good question. You know what? I'm gonna say those that supported my boundaries. In June, I kind of took a
Ooh.
hiatus. Yeah, it's that's a fun one. I know you had an episode about that recently too. I was listening to it and I was like, yeah, like boundaries are one thing that a lot of people seem to try and cross. And I messaged almost everybody I knew in June and I was like, listen, I'm going on a bit of sabbatical from texting and like checking my personal, social media. I'm strictly going just to my business account and I'll see you there if you want to, message me there. But otherwise, like, I'll see you in a month. And I think that would probably that's what I would accept as like, something someone did incredible for me is just supporting my boundary of that. I actually have friends this week that were messaging me. They're like, I know you're not texting. And I'm like, actually, it's July. It's the end of July now. We're good. But I completely forgot to text people and be like, hey, so like, I'm back. Like, you're good to text me whenever. But yeah, I just needed a minute to, like claw back and, put myself together. And there's so much going on with its, social media with people texting you all the time and it's frig, like I just need to take a minute. So that's what I did. So that's, I would say, the random act of kindness. It wasn't really random necessarily, but I don't leave, but there's not much I don't leave my house too much. So,
No, that's
you
a
know,
beautiful, because so many people do not respect that. And it was an act of kindness for yourself to set those and to just like be brave enough to be like, okay, I actually have to put myself first, and then have the people like reciprocate that. So I love that one.
yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
No
no.
better feeling right now. I'm dealing with so many people that aren't respecting boundaries in my friends' lives, and I'm just like, this is shitty. So
It's hard, right? I mean, you're trying to be your own person and you're trying to set your life up for, I mean, we're always going to have I'm not going to say we're always going to have failure. There's a quote right above me and I have it there for a reason, but it says the outcome will be successful because you either learn from it or it goes well. And so there really is no failure in life. But I think to just connect with the piece that we all understand what failure kind of looks like in general, is that, where am I going with this? I don't know, humans think we're failing and we're really not, but I think it's important to, take a step back and look at ourselves and push and advocate for ourselves, because no one else will advocate for us like we will. There really is no one. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a fiance or a partner or a parent or a sibling or any friends. I do a lot of this. I go on tangents. I have a little bit of ADHD, so I kind of forget what I'm talking about. Then I do circle back. So yeah, back to the boundaries and friends and stuff. It's like, we think that they're going to be there for us 24/7 all the time, but in reality, like, they're living their own life too, and our boundaries won't always be the same. So we tend to like cross boundaries with anyone in our lives, right? And sometimes it's accidental, sometimes it's on purpose, which really is just manipulation at the end of the day. But it's like, I don't know where I'm going with that. If any of that made sense, hopefully it resonated.
That was
but
perfect.
yeah,
I know so many people needed to hear that. Like, you have to be your own, like, have your own back. And we're always like, well, this person wasn't supporting me and I feel like I have no one. It's like, do you have yourself? Like,
yeah,
let's get real. Like, you got to have yourself. And that's
it's
where it all starts. And until you can have your own back, like, other people won't know how to support you, and you won't be able to call in people that actually want to support you too.
100%, unless you're unless you have full clarity on what you want your life to look like and how you need to be supported, how you want to be supported. People are going to treat you how they want to be supported, right? Like, I know I do this often with people in my life. I'll treat them how I think I want to be treated until they show up and they say, whoa, 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 like, you got to stop being so pushy, or, hey, can you just do it this way instead? And then sometimes I think about it and I go, no, screw that, I'm doing it my way. But other times I go, okay, I can have compassion here, and we can work alongside each other, and let's make sure we don't cross the boundary again. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're all human and we definitely make mistakes. And sometimes, of course, when you're doing the shadow work and you're trying to, it's not necessarily about fixing yourself, but when you're trying to evolve and be a little bit different than how you used to be, maybe, you tend to slip back into old patterns. So, until you're like fully on that neurological pathway of, where you want to go, you're going to have slip ups, right? It's no different than an alcoholic puts down a drink and maybe 2 months even later, they go, oh shit, like I slipped up, I had a drink. It's like, well, if you went XYZ, so long doing that, then there's a good probability you're going to slip up, right? And that's no different than how we are as humans in all of our relationships. So
Yes. I love this. Thank you. So important to talk about. Like, I think, yeah, especially setting boundaries with people who don't understand what they are. Like, a lot of our parents have no idea what boundaries are. So when you set them, it like creates whole lots of reactions, and like it makes people uncomfortable, especially like, yeah, people aren't used to boundaries. It's not a comfortable thing. And then you feel guilty, and it's like all these layers. But yeah, it's so much to talk about.
Totally. I know we can unpack. There's so much we could unpack in this little conversation here. Like, I think about our generation and our parents, and I'm like, they probably don't have boundaries because most of them, their parents or grandparents, even depending on, our age here, but I would say anyone in the ages of, hell, even like 20, because like my youngest sister is 20, and I think like she's got the same parents as I do, but you know, anyone between the ages of 20 and like even 45, like your grandparents likely came from, I don't know, World War II or something like very, you know, like something so insanely massive and traumatizing that we have to, now we're at the stage where we're unpacking that in our emotional and spiritual worlds, you know what I mean? And we also have our own stuff to unpack, but really at the end of the day, we're unpacking like generations of shit. It's wild. Like, thanks, Grandma. You know what I mean? Yes. Not that it's her fault. Geez, that sounded awful, but you know what I mean? It's like when you're in trauma, and you haven't looked at it, or you're so uncomfortable by it that you haven't given yourself the time to look at it and do the deep work on it. You leave it for other generations to do, and the cleanup it's damn hard.
Yeah. And then but there's also like gratitude for getting us where we are now. So it's like it's always the polarity. It's like,
totally,
fuck you, but thank you for all that I have right now.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, hell, I wouldn't be where I am without, you know, my grandparents doing what they did, and same with my parents, you know what I mean? But it totally, there's polarity in everything. There is no light without shadow, and there is no shadow without light. So
Agreed. Okay, this is great. Now let's get back to your business, because I want to share and learn more about you. So tell us how you got started with it, and like, what did you do before you had this?
Yeah, absolutely. So I still have a 9-to-5, but my goodness, I've always kind of dealt with a bit of a shadow mind, I'm gonna say. If I ever look back at any of my journaling, any of my writing, I used to do a lot of poetry as a kid. And oh my God, I was reading one the other day, and it was so sad because I was so depressed without knowing it. Like, I think I knew it at the time, but I don't think, like, mental health was only kind of just starting to talk about, you know, we went through the whole like emo phase and whatever, all of that stuff. And they're like, oh, it's just a phase, you'll get out of it. And it's like, well, no, like, damn, I look through my journals, and it's like so deep and dark and sad and scary, some of it. And I think that is something that I'm just so comfortable with, is the dark. So
what's your sign?
I'm an Aquarius.
Okay.
And then Aries rising and a Capricorn moon. So I'm kind of all over the map with my my astrology. But so a little bit dark, but so this is the basis of it. I'm comfortable with the dark, okay? And so we ended up moving. I'm from Ontario in Canada, and we ended up moving out west to Alberta. And I thought it was gonna be so much fun, and oh, it's gonna be rad, and I can't wait to be free and screw my hometown, and oh, I can't wait to get out, you know, kind of run from your problems. And what happened was I got super depressed because, you know, we didn't know anybody. I had no friends. I had no family there. I had no job when I started. Like, I had to figure it all out. We went for my fiance's position, but anyway, from there, I started working out a lot. I, you know, started having baths more because I was working out more, because what the hell else was there to do at the time? A few years after that, you know, I'm starting to feel pretty good, had a new job, and then I had an incredibly traumatic event happen. I personally don't dive into the details because I think us as humans and as souls, we always want to know more details, like, oh, what happened, and that sort of thing. And I just don't think that it's necessary, because I think if you understand what trauma really is at the core of it, we've all lived through something that's traumatic, and we don't need to compare someone's trauma to someone else's and all that stuff. But needless to say, I fell into a very deep depression very quickly, like suicidal, definitely tried. And, you know, there comes a time when if you've experienced trauma to the point where you completely give up, you stop caring about your health, you know, stop caring about what you look like, what you're saying, like nothing matters. And it was I didn't care because I'm so familiar with the dark. I didn't realize just how much it just like clawed into me and pulled me in, you know what I mean? So my fiance, on the other hand, was like, what is going on? Like, he literally, I'm not kidding, kicked in the bathroom door one day because I had locked myself in there, and it just was not good. It got to the point where I was just so like even just paranoid. And I ended up leaving that job a few years after. We ended up actually moving back to Ontario 3 years ago, but that was 2015 that the event happened. And so the depression kicked in. It was terrible, but it was in January of 2016. My mom had come out for Christmas and she was just about to leave. And I was talking to her about how I want to start making stuff with my hands, you know, I didn't know it at the time, but I guess it was more to like get back into my body, like the embodiment of feeling like a human again. And so we started talking about stuff, and I was like, maybe I'll do soaps because those were like a really big thing. And I was like looking it up, I'm like, they're so damn hard to make, like it's so complicated. That's how I felt anyway. And so I just was like, well, I already make salts for myself for like after my workouts. I have a bath, I make salts, all that stuff was already kind of there. And my mom is one to, I mean, she always, when I was younger, would talk to me about like spirit guides and, you know, my angels and this and that and chakras and meditation and all these things. So I kind of just loop back around and, you know, utilize what my mama taught me, which is what I always tell everyone at markets that I'm at. But, you know, you kind of go full circle, and leaving spirituality at the door when I was in my early 20s because I decided to, you know, pick up the drink harder. And I thought spirituality was uncool at the time. And, you know, you kind of go full circle and you take pieces back that make sense. And that's what I did. So in my baths, instead of, you know, trying to off myself, I was like, this is so stupid. Like, words of affirmation are not going to work for me. And, you know, slowly but surely, you say it enough times, you kind of start believing it. It's no different than when someone when you're younger says, oh, you're so stupid. Like, if they say it enough times, you're going to believe it. Where are all of our limiting beliefs from? You know what I mean? They're not just made up. They're there because someone told us, you know what I mean? So, so it's like, I already understand all of the psychology behind it because I'm so infatuated with psychology. And so that's kind of what I did. Super long story short, I was extremely depressed and suicidal. And then I just crafted my products based off of, you know, them helping me through, you know, my own workouts and stuff like that. So that's kind of where it came from. And then I didn't do anything with it until that following September of 2016. I made a few things, gifted them to some friends, and then I dropped all the ideas again. I was like, this is not for me. Like, this is so stupid. Why am I wasting my time on this? And then every once in a while I'd pick it back up again, and then I'd be like, this is dumb. And so I haven't really been consistent with it until about the end of 2018 when we moved back. And then I just dove into markets and that sort of thing. So it's kind of a really long story, but it stems more or less from a lot of pain. But being able to turn pain into something beautiful is something that I've always been able to do. You know, it's no different than if you're like, let's say you're in a 9-to-5 job and you're dealing with customers. If you can turn a customer around from being super pissed off and angry with you or upset, and you can turn their day around just a little bit, it's no different, but this would be for self. You know what I mean? So hopefully that answers the question of where I came from, but it's really, I go on a lot of tangents and I go long stories, but that's who I am. I go in super detail and in depth. So you know that my products are going to be no different. They're really detailed, and, you know, as simple as they are, there's a lot of thought and intention that goes behind everything, every scent, every ingredient. So I hope that is relayed in my, you know, diving deep into my depths of my soul here.
I think that's beautiful. I'm one too. And I think like we learn from stories, and sometimes like everything doesn't need to be so short and concise, like so quick and fast. We're so used to that in this society. And sometimes it's nice to hear the whole story. Like, I feel so much more connected to you because you shared that. And like you said, you don't have to share all the details, but you shared like a beautiful part of it. So, and that's
Totally.
you. And it's like, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Like people are always like, you need to do this and this. It's like, actually, this is what's best for me and I like it. So
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes diving deep into the intricacies of life is you actually kind of take away more of the point is taken away because then people are they're so infatuated with that one thing you said instead of the principle of it, right? So I mean, if you're in pain and if you're suicidal, definitely reach out for help. Frig, it took me 3 years. I literally didn't go to a therapist until middle of 2018, and then we ended up moving. So as soon as I found a great therapist, like we moved and then they're gone. I actually today I just reached out to a few because I was like, hey, it's time to get back on that. Like I talk about mental health a lot and then here I am like not walking the walk. So it's you can only go so far with deep shadow work yourself without help of others, right? Because I mean communication is so key and I wouldn't learn things unless I had a conversation with you maybe. So
Yeah.
you know, if you are in a space where you're extremely depressed or suicidal, like definitely reach out to somebody, but certainly look for professional help if you don't have one of my mentors calls it trusted advisors. Like if you don't have someone that you can tell a full story to without judgment, um, then you need to find somebody, and sometimes that comes in the form of a therapist. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like therapy has helped me so much. And at the same time, I've had really shitty therapists that told me there's so many things wrong with me and like all that. But that's kind of why I do the work I do. Like I'm not a therapist, I'm a coach, I'm a self-discovery coach, but like I love to be able to hold that space for people because all people need is just to be seen and to be heard and to be held in a space of non-judgment and to like know they're not alone and it's okay to feel all they're feeling. And that's just like my gift to people to be able to hold that space because we all need to be held. Like, yes, like you said,
Totally.
you can do so much inner work, you're on your own, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have to ask for help at some point. Like
Yeah.
we're human, we need each other. And yeah, that
Yeah.
accountability is so important.
And it's harder, I think, too, as women to ask for help because we're so typically taught to be the people to help. And I mean, as incredible as it is, like it's amazing, like especially in 2021, look at all of the women, especially that are out there putting themselves on the line. And I mean, the witch hunt is real. Like IG is muting people like crazy. I don't know if you watched my story this morning, but you literally just said the same things I said this morning about like I had literally just had goosebumps as you were talking, but it's like we all just want to be seen and heard and understood at the end of the day, every single human. So you just need to find people that will do that for you. And sometimes your closest friends aren't the people to do that because you've either taught them, you know, not to, or they don't know how because of, you know, their life experience, their circumstance, and their beliefs. So, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. I didn't listen to your story, so I love how aligned we are. That's
Oh,
so
I went
cool.
on a rant. I went on a rant about Instagram because I was like, you know what? Screw these reels. Like, as fun as they are to watch, I actually really enjoy watching them. I'm like, I just don't know if I want to make them. And like, how would I do it with products? And like, maybe I just do it based off mental health and stuff. I'm like, I don't know if I even want to do a reel. Why is Instagram making me do reels? Why am I being forced? Something is being forced upon me. I mean, we're not forced to do anything in life really at the end of the day. Mind you, yes, there are things that are definitely forced upon us. I'm not gonna say that there aren't, but I mean, Instagram at the end of the day, we can totally choose to walk away from it. You know, it is just a tool after all, but it's frustrating. It feels like patriarchy is just like, hey, and trying to step on it. It's like, fuck off, man. Like, let me do my thing. I was totally fine with static posts and my long captions. Leave me be. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I feel that. It's definitely
Yeah.
overwhelming. There's so much change. You have to adapt so much in this world. But
Yeah, we're moving
um
at like wildly fast paces now. Like, I don't know if you feel shifts. Like I'm pretty connected. I feel very quick shifts happening, and I think by 2023 we might even be in a completely different world than we are now. We're like humans are evolving at no different of a rate or speed that technology is. So let's not forget we are technology at the end of the day too. Like we have a very high functioning consciousness up there that is like it's like ready to go. We just need to embody it. So
I feel that. So for to bring people down from, like you said, from like feeling overwhelmed or whatnot, how can we use your products? Tell us about them a little bit more.
For sure. So let's start with my bath salts. So my bath salts are, they're just very simple, elegant salts. I use 4 different salts as my base. And then I do use coconut oil as my carrier oil. However, because I'm handmade and I'm small batch, if you ever message me and you say, hey, I'd love to buy XYZ, but I'm allergic to coconut oil, or I hate coconut oil, can you use another carrier oil? I'll happily do it. That's like no problem at all. But basically my most favorite thing to do with my product, with the salt specifically, is you run your bath, make sure it's not overly hot because you'll just burn the essential oil, which is just like terrible. Essential oils are so concentrated. I feel like people don't respect Mother Earth enough when it comes to that, right? Like we're just smothering them everywhere and utilizing them every single day. And it's like, whoa, like hold your horses. Like, it's no different than our trees that are like running out. Like, let's be conscious of the essential oils. So I always say lukewarm to hot, but not just like you're burning in hell sort of hot, even though I do love a bath that's that hot, trust me. But you don't want to burn the oil. So run your bath and then honestly sprinkle it into your hand first, or like just grab a clump of it in your hand and smell it and just like enjoy it first before sprinkling it into the tub is like my favorite thing, because once your hands touch it, it's putting off your energy into it as well, instead of just like pouring it out of the jar. Mind you, you're more than welcome to do that too. And then I always just say whatever your desired amount is. I make them so it's safe enough if you want to use the whole jar for one bath, or if you just want to use a sprinkle or two, or half of it, you're more than welcome to use any amount. And then once you're in the bath, I just love to take a couple deep breaths and just really set into your heart space and, you know, pull yourself into yourself. If that makes sense at all. I know some people out there will be like, yeah, I totally get it. And other people will be like, what? Pull myself into myself? What is this crazy lady talking about? So just sit with yourself for a moment. And then the way I was taught to kind of work with my chakra system is to ground myself first and protect myself with a white light, or, you know, just visualize some sort of bubble around my space. And then, you know, a couple more deep breaths. And then depending on the actual salt that you have, you would put your hands at that chakra space and then say the affirmation on the package. I love to say it out loud. Some people are uncomfortable hearing their own voice because we've been taught to not like our own voice, whether that's your actual sound of your voice or the words coming out of our mouths. We have been taught to, you know, follow along other people for so long. So say it out loud, and, you know, more than once, the better. It is an affirmation after all. So the more you say it, the more you will believe it, and then the more it will actually come to fruition for you, because it's all about energy. And then at the end, hey, you do what you want. If you want to just pull the plug and jump out, by all means. But when I utilize my products, I'll pull the plug and I actually sit in the water until all the water is drained. And then I do say, I'm not going to say I say a prayer, but I do say a little something to myself into the water to thank it, and then, you know, go on my merry little way. So I really love making rituals of my time with myself. So really at the end of the day, you're going to do what's best for you and what feels right for you. But yeah, that's what I say. And I would say to just use one of the chakras, like one of the scents per bath. I had people that would ask me, do I just like buy one of each and pour them all in the same bath? I'm like, I think that would be a little obnoxious, but like, hey, tell me how it smells. But that would be how to use it best. I do have shower steamers as well. So those are, again, pretty simple. You actually put it off to the side of the shower. You do your thing in the shower, and the water will run off your body and it'll hit the steamer, the little puck. And then once it hits, it'll activate like similar to a bath bomb, release the scent, and then the steam from your shower helps keep the scent contained. So that's a fun way to do it as well. And those basically my bath salts and my shower steamers are the same scent. I just have the shower steamers as an alternative motive. So, but please do not use my shower steamers as a bath bomb, because they do not have a carrier oil in them, and they're not meant to be an actual like tub product. And then I do have a foot scrub as well. So the foot scrub is something new to this year, and I launched that, I think it was January, February. And so there's a local coffee roasting company in Toronto that I use their beans, and they're awesome. They're called Street Brew Coffee out of Toronto. So I use their beans. They're amazing. The foot scrub is amazing. I actually have it here to show you, but it's incredible. Like, it smells so good. I've got blood orange, cinnamon, vetiver, sweet birch. It is coffee based, but there's also some Epsom salts in there and sugar. So that's a good one too. And Street Brew and I have, we've collaborated with an organization out of Toronto, a charity. So there's a percentage of proceeds that I actually e-transfer over to Street Brew, and then they'll submit it for, it's a charity for homelessness. So as we all know, the root chakra, well, maybe we don't all know, but the root chakra has to do with our foundation. So I just found that like so perfectly fitting. So with the coffee's, part of the root chakra, it's all about, feeling grounded and safe and secure. So anyway, it's very intentional, and it's amazing. So yeah, and then more products to come. I do have a Mama and Me line. So that's using essential oils that are for women in their second and third trimester, and then kids 5 and up, for essential oils that are safe for them. So, but I mean, anyone can use them. But yeah, those are my products. I'm going to be expanding definitely before the end of the year. I was really hoping to launch something else this summer, but as I said, we were speaking before, I don't know if it was part of the recording or not, but I took a bit of a sabbatical from kind of life in general in June, and I said, nah, not today. But yeah, I do have something extremely exciting happening though in mid-August. So keep an eye on my page, and that's going to be really fun. I know I like to say I like rituals, so that's the little drop I'm going to leave. So yeah, that one's going to be super, super exciting. So
incredible. And if people want to buy your products, where do they go?
Yeah, so I'm 7csalts.com. I do have an Etsy shop still. That way I can join like local markets in my area, but 7csalts.com is a place to go. On Instagram, you can always message me as well. It's just at 7csalts. So that's the number 7, the letter C, and then salts. It's all one word. So
thank you so much for sharing. Everyone go get yourself some good products and get yourself some good gifts. It's a perfect gift for people.
It's honestly like, and if you have no idea what the hell a chakra is, just come to my page and I'll tell you. I'll be putting up some blogs also over the next couple of weeks. Just it's something that I've been putting off for a while, but that'll kind of dive more into detail about what the heck a chakra is, and then each one individually. Yeah, and then if you have no idea, if you are wanting to, if you're like, oh, this is something so and so would love, please reach out. I'm more than happy. If you're not like knowledgeable in this sort of area, just ask me questions, and I'm more than happy to assist. So
love that. That's the power of small business. You get to talk to a real human.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome.